Girls love athletes, but which sport pulls the most girls? Let's find out. First off, we got basketball. Now, I live in America, and here, if you want to pull girls, basketball is the sport to play. Whether you're in high school, college, or the pros, basketball is a chick magnet. I mean, I remember when Mikey Williams was in high school and grown women were coming to his games and thirsting over him. I mean, that's crazy. Like, the most clout I ever had throughout school was when I played on my middle school basketball team. I mean, even though we were trash and we went like 1 for 13 on the season, I got all the cheerleader Snapchats and sent them all videos of me with like the dog filter on Snapchat. You remember that? I mean, just look at the pros. You got like Jalen Green impregnating a woman 20 years older than him who has a son his age. You got Magic Johnson that smashed so much it ruined his career. And then we got the Godfather, Wilt Chamberlain, who has a higher body count than most NBA players have points. But the thing is, even though basketball is technically a global sport, it's only really big in the US, Canada, and in small pockets around the world. So because it's not a truly global sport, I'm gonna give it an A rating, which is still very solid. Next up, we got baseball. Now, I might piss people off in the 65 and older age demographic, but no one cares about baseball anymore. I'm sorry, bro. If we look back in the day of like Joe DiMaggio, Babe Ruth, and even kind of recently in the early 2000s with like Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez, I mean, dudes were slaying back in the day. Derek Jeter's roster is legitimately like 2017 Warriors level. We got like Mariah Carey, Jessica Alba, literally every beautiful actress of the early 2000s. I mean, it was crazy, but baseball really fell off. And these days, if you play baseball, no one really cares, bro. Like, I respect it as a sport, but if you want to pull girls, you're not gonna find that much luck. So I mean, baseball, if we look back in the 20th century, it would probably be like an A rating, but I mean, these days, I'm sorry, it might offend you, but I gotta go D for baseball. Next up, we got American football, or as the British call it, hand egg. Now, obviously, it's called American football because it's only really big in one country, America, but in America, man, do we love football. Especially, I live in Texas, so you can peep the Mavericks jersey. Actually, hold up 1 second. All right, that's better. Got the Cowboys jersey on. You can hate me even more now. Anyways, in Texas, football is king. Go to any high school football game on a Friday night and the stands are gonna be completely full. I mean, some of my best memories from high school was pulling up to my school's football games with like 1,000 kids in the stands and just going absolutely insane. The thing about football is you're wearing a helmet, right? So you're less recognizable. So unless you're a star player, girls won't really gravitate towards you. So if you're the star quarterback, the star running back, the star wide receiver, the star linebacker, maybe even the star D lineman or something, unless you really stand out in one of those more recognizable positions, girls won't really care about you. I mean, you can put on your varsity jacket and walk around school like you own the place, but to be honest, no one really cares, bro. If you're the starting O lineman, sorry, bro. And then obviously college football in America is insane. Like Joe Burrow, the amount of girls that were thirsting over him is insane. Deshaun Watson hanging out with like Mia Khalifa. Then we got like Taj Boyd with like 3 snow bunnies in his dorm room. Brother, college football in America is a complete mess. Like, if you want to pull girls, just play college football. Because football is so big in the US, but like literally nowhere else in the world cares about it, it's like hard to rank. I would have to rank football at a solid B rating just because we're going on a global scale. Now, the next sport up is tennis. Now, you might be laughing to yourself like, what the heck, girls don't care about tennis? Like, I've never heard of a tennis groupie in my life. But dude, do not sleep on girls that like tennis, okay? Like, I used to play tennis back in elementary school, and one thing I noticed looking at the older tennis girls is tennis girls are wifey material. So like with tennis, you won't have girls constantly thirsting over you, but the girls that are into tennis are always like really wholesome, really fun to be around, and also like always like really pretty. Do not sleep on tennis girls, I'm telling you, bro. I mean, the first girl I ever really had like a thing with back in middle school played tennis, and like we're still friends till this day. And girls that like tennis players, maybe there's not a lot of them, but they're very high quality. So I gotta rate tennis a solid B rating. Next up, we got the other country club sport, golf. Now you might be thinking, golf? Like that's even lamer than tennis. If you don't think golf has baddies in the sport, you probably just haven't played golf, all right? I'm not very good at golf, but I started playing recently, and one thing I noticed is that cart girls are bad as hell. I think if you want basic but attractive white girls, golf is your sport to play. And I was thinking of rating golf pretty low just because there isn't a lot of interest in golf from females, but Tiger Woods kind of single-handedly disproved that entire notion. Tiger Woods smashed so many snow bunnies that it ruined his career. It's like bro was the most dominant athlete on the planet, started smashing like 40 white girls on the side while he was married, and then his career went down the drain right after that. So if the greatest golfer of all time smashed so much that it destroyed his career, I think golf at least has to be a C. Now, the next sport, I mean, it's not a conventional sport, but I just feel like I have to talk about it, is F1. If you were to tell me that F1 was an experiment created by the deep state to test how girls will literally turn their brain off and just be attracted to a guy who turns left for a living, I wouldn't be surprised. I'll be talking to a girl and she's like, yeah, I casually watch F1, even though she doesn't watch like any other sport. I'm like, what is so interesting about race car driving? The thing is, there's nothing interesting about race car driving. The interesting part is the guy driving the car. F1 drivers have a level of pull that cannot be replicated by literally any other sport. I mean, the only reason I really even know who Lewis Hamilton is because like every girl I know has a crush on him, and every time I see him, he's with a certified baddie. How do you pull Nicki Minaj, Rihanna, and Shakira? I get the guy is pretty good looking and he drives a car fast, but is that enough, bro? Like, that's crazy. I would have never expected F1 to have as big a draw on women as it does. I mean, just respect to them. I mean, that's just great marketing. So I gotta go F1 at A tier. I mean, I gotta do it. I mean, it's too powerful. The next sport up is one I'm sure a lot of you have been waiting for, and that's soccer or football, depending on where you live. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really watch soccer, and the only time I really hear about it is when iShowSpeed is gagging on Ronaldo's sack. But I mean, soccer, I mean, it's kind of obvious, bro. I mean, it's the biggest sport in the world, so I mean, what do you expect? I live in America where soccer isn't even really that big, and soccer players still pull here. Like, honestly, your average hot girl in America is probably going to go for a basketball player or like a star football player, but all the girls that play soccer like exclusively go for guys that play soccer. And I'm gonna be honest, girls that play soccer are kind of bad, like, not gonna lie. I've been going to some of my university soccer games, and the elite competition is definitely not the reason why I'm there. So I mean, soccer, it's obvious, even though we got guys flopping around like fish trying to get a penalty or free kick, it's still an S tier, bro. Now we move on to volleyball. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I've only recently really been introduced to volleyball. I never really played it growing up, but I will say girls that play volleyball are almost always super bad. If you want a super tall, thick girlfriend, go play beach volleyball. You're gonna find elite genes when you go play volleyball at your local beach with some of those girls. And then obviously indoor volleyball, those uniforms be looking crazy, bro, I'm not gonna lie. The thing is though, a lot of girls don't really play volleyball, or if they did, they played it like in their childhood and they like stopped playing. So like finding girls that like still play volleyball and are interested in it, even like into like college and stuff, is kind of difficult. So because there isn't a huge quantity of girls that play volleyball and like guys that play volleyball, I gotta like balance it out, and I gotta rank it at like a B tier. Also, if you're a big booty volleyball girl, hit me up on IG, my DMs are open. Next up, we got hockey. Now, in Canada, all the girls there love hockey players, but outside of Canada, I mean, it's not looking great. I mean, there's still places like Scandinavian countries and some places in Europe, like Russia or whatever, where hockey is pretty big, but hockey obviously is a sport that's restrained by weather. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that you'll never get a big booty Latina chick watching hockey. All right, so if Canadian girls are enough for you, play hockey and get you some puck bunnies. So because of that, I gotta like balance it out, and I think a fair rating for hockey is a C. Next up, we got track, or short distance running. Now, track is interesting because track guys exclusively pull track girls and no one else. I remember back in high school, I took an environmental science class, and the girl who sat next to me in that class was a varsity track athlete, and I think she went on to run D1 track, but I remember she wouldn't shut up at all about this guy, Matthew Bowling, who was like big at the time. He was like this high school track star that was like breaking records or whatever. It was to the point where she was referring to him as her husband. And you know, anytime a girl refers to a celebrity as her husband, A, that's a massive red flag, and B, you know she's obsessed with him. The thing is, no one other than track girls care about track guys, just honestly. But I mean, track girls on average are pretty bad, like you can't lie, especially in those track uniforms. Like whoever designed those uniforms, like you are a dirty dog, but like, dirty dog, what the fuck? I think a C is a fair rating. Maybe that's too high, but I think because there's enough people running track around the world, I think that's a fair rating. So I think C for track. Now, before I talk about the last sport, which does pull the most girls by far, I just want to run through the ratings of some more minor sports. Skateboarding, B. Swimming, C. Figure skating, B. I'm gonna let you guys get mad at that one. Lacrosse, E. Ping pong, F. Sorry. Cricket, C. Now let's talk about the king of all sports when it comes to pulling girls. I mean, soccer is nice and all, but this really blows it out of the water. And obviously, I'm talking about racing during elementary school recess. If you were the fastest kid back in 4th grade, you were basically king of your school. Anyone who's graduated from elementary school can attest to the fact that if you could dust everyone in your grade level in elementary school, you were the king of your grade level. You're probably gonna be getting some extra bags of M&Ms on Valentine's Day. And if you enjoyed this video, please follow me on Instagram. I'm posting there once we hit 10,000 subscribers. So please subscribe to the channel and then follow me on Instagram. I think we're gonna hit 10K very soon and I want you to join me on this journey. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.